Right now, as we speak, a licensed speech pathologist and former pageant queen is sitting in a California jail cell facing life in prison for allegedly trying to murder Rihanna in her own home. And when I tell you the digital trail she left behind reads like a countdown to violence, I mean every single word. Child, this woman didn't just snap one day. She allegedly documented her descent into obsession for months on YouTube, praying for over an hour at a time about Rihanna's death being tied to her own divine destiny. We're talking about 14 felony counts. We're talking about semi-automatic weapons. We're talking about a woman who stood in court and said, quote, "I wasn't attempting murder, not I didn't do it, not they got the wrong person, but I wasn't attempting murder." Before we dive into these deeply disturbing receipts, be sure to leave a like and subscribe right now. Support the channel so everyone can see how these parasocial relationships are escalating into real-world violence that the system completely ignored until bullets started flying. Here's exactly what we're proving today. The Ivana Lizette Ortiz case isn't just about one crazy fan, it's the perfect storm of Bible-coded violence, parasocial obsession, and systemic failure that watched the red flags pile up for years and still let her get within firing distance of a global icon and her family. We've seen stalkers before, we've seen death threats before, but this is when spiritual warfare roleplay meets semi-automatic weapons, and honestly, it should terrify all of us. Now I already know, some people are gonna roll up in these comments like, "Don't judge her, she's just mentally ill," or "Y'all dragging a Christian woman for praying." That's cute. But if you're watching this channel, you're not here for the sugar-coated version. We're the people who actually read court documents, who watch the full hour-long prayer videos, and who can say, no, this went way beyond ministry the moment a gun was allegedly involved. So do me a favor, hit that like button and share this video because trust me, a lot of folks are gonna try to bury how calculated this really was. Alright, walk with me. Over the past few weeks since early March 2026, we've seen name after name trending: Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, attempted murder, and right in the middle, Ivana Lizette Ortiz. So who is she? Because on paper, she's the last person you'd expect on an attempted murder docket. According to reports from Fox News, NPR, Newsweek, and Bossip, she's 35 years old from Orlando, Florida. Licensed speech pathologist with over 10 years in the field. Former pageant queen. Mother of at least one child. But here's where it gets dark. In 2024, a judge took custody of her child away, citing significant concerns regarding her mental stability. Her estranged husband is Jed Valdez-Sangalang, who allegedly received emails from her demanding he renounce Rihanna and admit that Ortiz was superior to the singer. And online? Completely different person. She ran a YouTube channel called Praying Woman's Journal, 117 videos total, including a 60-episode series where she sits alone, sometimes for over an hour, talking to God, talking to enemies, and talking directly to celebrities like they're sitting right there with her. There are two things we need to examine before we even touch the shooting: her documented online obsession with Rihanna framed as religious warfare, and the long trail of mental health and legal red flags that multiple systems ignored. Because when those two collide, that's when we get gunshots at a billionaire's house in Beverly Hills. Let's start with the social media trail, because honestly, it reads like a countdown clock to violence. February 23, 2026, just 13 days before the alleged shooting, she posts on Facebook. At Bajal, are you there? Cause I was waiting for your 8'5" head self to say something to me directly instead of sneaking around like you're talking to me where I'm not at. Yikes. I mean, honestly, read that again. She's not just insulting Rihanna, she's convinced Rihanna is somehow speaking to her from different spaces, sneaking around, having conversations where she's not at. That is textbook parasocial delusion territory. And it wasn't a one-off. February 17th, 2026, she allegedly posts a meme, Drake's shocked face with the caption, "When Drake found out Rihanna has AIDS." So interpretation number one, she's just a hateful troll weaponizing AIDS as an insult, which is already disgusting. But interpretation number two, and this supports our bigger point, she's building an alternate reality where Rihanna is diseased, demonic, and personally at war with her. Because then you go back to December 20th, 2025, and she posts, "I'm already through with Rihanna," then pivots to Kim Kardashian. "I restricted that stupid B. Your turn hiding B. Stop begging for a look." So she's not just obsessed with Rihanna. She has a whole mental hit list of celebrities she's canceling, restricting, rebuking. Other videos tagged Ray Shremmerd, Bad Baby. She's created this fantasy where she has power over A-list celebrities. But here's where it gets absolutely chilling. In day 39 of her Praying Woman's Journal, over an hour long, she allegedly says directly to the camera, "Listen, Rihanna, when you die, God is taking me to my future. You want to kill me? Shut the F*** up." Then, yeah, she's a witch. "I'm a watchman. Get that stupid girl out of here." And this line right here, "God's presence is here, but so is the devil. There's someone who wants to kill you. That's the devil, and I rebuke him in the name of Jesus." That's Satan. He wants to kill something beautiful, just like his Rihanna. This is what I call the Watchman complex. She's not a stalker in her own mind, she's a divine protector. She's not committing violence, she's executing God's will. And once you believe someone's death is tied to your divine promotion, we've seen this story before, loves. That is a very dangerous script to have playing in your head. Honestly, the more I look at these posts, the more it feels like she was rehearsing a justification before anything even went down. And here's where it gets interesting, or really, where it gets terrifying. Because we've all seen people talk wild online. We've all seen "I rebuke you in Jesus' name" comments under celebrity pages. But most of them don't end up facing prosecutor Alexander Bott. Yes, the same DA who convicted Tory Lanez for shooting Megan Thee Stallion, being told they could have caused multiple homicides. So the question becomes, what turned all that spiritual warfare roleplay into real-world gunfire? Quick mid-video pause. If you're still here, you're clearly one of the people who actually cares about the full story. Go ahead and tap that like button and drop receipts in the comments so I know you're watching all the way through. So according to NPR, Reuters, KTLA, Live Now from Fox, and multiple other outlets, here's what the state of California says happened. Ivana is now charged with 14 felony counts. 1 count of attempted murder of Rihanna. 10 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm that includes Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, family members, 2 staffers, and 2 neighbors. 3 counts of shooting at an inhabited dwelling, Rihanna's house, a trailer, and a neighbor's house. If she's convicted on all counts, we're talking life in prison. Prosecutor Alexander Bott said in court, this case involves a dangerous, deliberate shooting into occupied homes. This is the kind of conduct that could easily have resulted in multiple homicides. He's not calling it an accident. He's not saying stray bullets. He's saying deliberate. At her March 11th hearing, her bail went from $10.2 million down to $1.8 million, and the judge issued a protective order for Rihanna and Rocky. That alone tells you the judge saw her as a real threat. Then March 25th, formal arraignment, she appears in yellow prison attire, behind glass. Her new attorney enters not guilty pleas to all 14 counts. But then she leans into the mic and says, "Can I say one sentence? I would like to say that I wasn't attempting murder. But that's all I wanted to say. Listen. If you're completely innocent, are you really choosing those words?" She didn't say, "I didn't shoot." She didn't say, "They're lying on me." She said, essentially, okay, maybe something happened, but I wasn't attempting murder. Which is technically what she's charged with, attempted murder. So either she's trying to draw some weird line between what I meant to do and what they're saying I meant to do, or she's still stuck in that spiritual framing where she's like, no, I was doing God's work. That's not murder. But here's the thing, this wasn't Ivana's first encounter with the legal system or mental health professionals. According to court documents that outlets like Bossip have reviewed, she was previously Baker acted in Florida. That's involuntary psychiatric hold because you're deemed dangerous. In 2024, she lost custody of her child, with a judge citing significant concerns regarding her mental stability. She filed for bankruptcy in 2013. Arrested for careless driving in 2021. Then arrested for domestic violence and battery in 2023, reportedly for attacking her ex-husband Jed. And get this, Jed said she sent him emails demanding he renounce Rihanna and admit that Ortiz was superior to the singer. So even inside her own marriage, this Rihanna obsession was allegedly showing up. Financial stress, legal trouble, loss of custody, domestic violence, religious intensity escalating, and Rihanna being framed as this central demonic rival. This is not a fan who lost it overnight. This is a multi-year escalation. And here's the scariest part, Rihanna's team already knew about threats. According to Daily Mail insiders, her security had been aware of threats before the shooting. Authorities are now investigating threats across X, Telegram, and other platforms. So just remember this, the internet could see it. The family court saw it. Her own ex-husband allegedly saw it. Security teams saw it. But somehow, a woman with this trail still allegedly managed to get that close to Rihanna's house with a semi-automatic weapon. So let's really break down this phrase that summarizes everything, Bible-coded violence. Walk with me for a second. What I mean is, actions that from the outside look like abuse, stalking, harassment, or violence, but inside the person's head, they've been rebranded as ministry, warfare, obedience, calling. Isn't it weird how nobody is ever the villain in their own story? Even when they're allegedly the one pulling the trigger? Look at her language, I'm a watchman. She's a witch. When you die, God is taking me to my future. There's someone who wants to kill you. That's the devil. If you believe you are a watchman and your enemy is a witch and your promotion is tied to their death, what wouldn't you justify to protect that story? Now some people won't like this next part, but we have to say it, there are whole online communities that encourage this kind of thinking. Folks who will watch someone clearly spiraling and instead of saying, "Girl, you need help," they're like, "Yes, warrior of God. Expose the witches." They won't admit it, but a lot of prophetic content online is basically fanfic with Bible verses, and this is what happens when someone with real instability takes that fanfic literally. And honestly, this is bigger than just Ivana. Psychologically, this case is like a perfect snapshot of what happens when parasocial culture, celebrity worship, religious extremism, and social media algorithms all collide. Think about it, she had an entire YouTube channel where she could monologue for an hour with no pushback. She had Facebook to tag Rihanna, to post memes, to talk to a wall that looks like an audience. She had just enough professional stability, speech pathologist, pageant queen, that people probably brushed off her weirdness as quirky or super religious. And then you strip away custody of her child, her marriage falls apart, you add bankruptcy and legal cases, and the one thing she still controls? The narrative in her head. The story where she's chosen. Where she's the watchman. Where Rihanna is the enemy. So yeah, mental illness is alleged here. But mental illness alone doesn't pick a target like Rihanna. Culture does that too. We live in a world where celebrities aren't just entertainers, they're spiritual symbols for people now. Saint, demon, idol, witch, Jezebel spirit, all that language is everywhere online. And if you're already unstable, that language doesn't stay symbolic. It becomes literal marching orders. So let's widen the lens. Because one person allegedly pulled the trigger, but multiple systems let it get that far. Number 1, the mental health system. She was Baker acted. That means professionals deemed her dangerous enough to be held. Number 2, the family court system. They saw enough instability to take her child away in 2024. Judges don't do that lightly. Number 3, the criminal system. Domestic violence arrest in 2023. Violence wasn't new for her. Number 4, social media platforms. Her content was up long enough to reach reporters and go viral after the shooting. And number 5, security systems. Rihanna's team knew about threats, but somehow this still happened. So clearly, pieces of the puzzle were visible. But were they ever connected? Did anyone say, this woman is centering her destiny around Rihanna's death? Or did everyone just say, well, she's weird, but what can we do? The ugly reality is, systems rarely move until famous people are in danger. If this had been a regular neighbor instead of Rihanna, would we even be hearing about it? Now, reactions online have been immediate and all over the place. You have shocked fans who are absolutely terrified for Rihanna and Rocky's family. You have sympathetic voices pointing out that Ortiz clearly needed psychiatric help she didn't get. On the other hand, you have harsh critics saying mental illness is not an excuse for attempted murder. And many people are expressing concern about how this reflects on the Christian community and online prophetic culture. And honestly, all of those reactions make sense. This case hits at the intersection of mental health, religious freedom, celebrity culture, and public safety. But what we can't do is pretend the warning signs weren't there. Let's look at the actual receipts one more time, because when you lay them out chronologically, the pattern is undeniable. 2013, bankruptcy filing 2021, careless driving arrest 2023, domestic violence arrest against her husband 2024, loses custody of child due to mental stability concerns December 2025, I'm already through with Rihanna Facebook post January 2026. Hour-long YouTube videos linking Rihanna's death to her future February 2026, AIDS accusations and direct confrontational posts March 2026, alleged shooting, 14 felony charges. That's not a sudden break from reality. That's a documented descent with multiple intervention points that were missed. So when you lay everything out on the table, here's what we clearly see. A 35-year-old licensed professional, former pageant queen, turned Christian YouTuber. A documented history of mental health crises, domestic violence, and losing custody of her child. A long, ugly, public digital trail obsessively targeting Rihanna with accusations of AIDS, witchcraft, demonic imagery. Hours of prayer footage where she ties Rihanna's death to her own future and calling. An alleged gun attack on Rihanna's home with 14 felony counts. And in the middle of all that, she still stands in court and says, I wasn't attempting murder. This is undeniably more than just standing gone wrong. This is Bible-coded violence, parasocial delusion, and systemic negligence all rolled into one terrifying case. And the ultimate irony? Rihanna, who people have called every name in the book for years, devil worshiper, Illuminati, which is the one who actually almost got killed by someone insisting they were on God's side. You can't make that up. Anyone with eyes can tell that when religious language gets twisted like this, it doesn't protect people. It gives unstable people a script for their worst impulses. And the question we're left with is, how many more people are out there right now, talking just like this online, that we're not even paying attention to? How many more praying woman's journal channels are there with hour-long rants about celebrities being demons? How many more watchmen are building alternate realities where violence becomes ministry? Because if this case teaches us anything, it's that the line between digital delusion and physical danger has completely disappeared. This case also forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about celebrity culture and parasocial relationships. We've normalized people having intense, personal relationships with strangers they see on screens. We've normalized canceling celebrities, talking about them like we know them personally, creating elaborate theories about their private lives. And when you combine that with religious extremism and untreated mental illness, this is one possible endpoint. Rihanna is high profile enough that we're seeing this on international news. But this could be anybody's neighbor, anybody's ex, anybody's coworker who's been posting weird stuff that everyone just ignored. And we have to talk about platform accountability. YouTube hosted 117 videos from this woman, including 60 episodes of her talking about celebrities in increasingly disturbing ways. Facebook allowed her to directly tag and threaten Rihanna multiple times. At what point do these platforms have a responsibility to flag content that goes beyond free speech into potential threat territory? Because the technology exists to detect concerning patterns, they just choose not to use it until after someone gets hurt. For celebrities and public figures, this case is a wake-up call. The old model of ignore the crazy comments clearly isn't working when those comments can escalate to real-world violence. Security teams are now having to monitor not just direct threats, but also spiritual warfare content, prophetic declarations, and parasocial content that frames celebrity deaths as divine destiny. That's a whole new category of threat assessment that most security professionals weren't prepared for. From a legal standpoint, this case could set important precedents for how courts handle religiously motivated violence and parasocial stalking. Prosecutor Alexander Bod is treating this as seriously as any other attempted murder case. He's not giving her a pass because she framed it as religious activity. He's saying that when you pick up a gun and allegedly fire into occupied homes, your motivation doesn't matter, the action is what counts. But we also can't ignore the massive mental health system failures here. This woman was Baker acted, lost custody of her child, had multiple arrests, and somehow still fell through the cracks. How many intervention points were missed? How many professionals saw her and thought, someone else will handle this? The system is clearly not equipped to deal with people who present as religious but are actually dangerous. And let's not forget the human cost here. Her ex-husband Jed is now raising their child alone, having to explain why mommy is on the news for trying to hurt a famous singer. That child is going to grow up with this as part of their story. Rihanna and A$AP Rocky have to live with the knowledge that someone was obsessed enough to allegedly try to kill them in their own home. Their children, their staff, their neighbors, all traumatized by this. So what can be done to prevent the next Ivana Lizette Ortiz? First, we need better integration between mental health systems, family courts, and law enforcement. When someone loses custody due to mental instability and has a history of violence, that should trigger ongoing monitoring. Second, social media platforms need to develop better algorithms for detecting escalating parasocial threats, especially when they're couched in religious language. Third, the entertainment industry needs to take digital threats more seriously and invest in threat assessment professionals who understand religious extremism and parasocial psychology. And fourth, and this is where we come in, we need to stop normalizing extreme parasocial behavior. When we see people talking about celebrities like they personally know them, when we see spiritual warfare content targeting real people, we need to recognize that it's concerning, not entertaining. You know what's really messed up about this whole situation? Ivana Ortiz genuinely seemed to believe she was doing something righteous. In her mind, she was the hero of the story, the watchman protecting the world from a witch. She probably thought she would be celebrated for what she allegedly did. That's how deep the delusion went. She couldn't see that she had become the exact thing she claimed to be fighting against, a person causing harm to innocent people. So when we step back and look at the complete picture, the digital trail, the legal history, the mental health red flags, the systemic failures, the cultural context, this case becomes a perfect storm of everything wrong with how we handle celebrity obsession, religious extremism, and mental health in America. Ivana Lizette Ortiz didn't just try to hurt Rihanna. She exposed every crack in our system's ability to protect people from Bible-coded violence disguised as divine mission. And until we address those systemic failures, there will be more Ivanas out there, building their alternate realities, waiting for their moment to turn digital obsession into real-world tragedy. So yeah, that's all I got for today on who Ivana Lizette Ortiz really is, and why this case should scare all of us way more than just being another crazy fan story. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think this is purely a mental health crisis, or do you think the religious framing and online culture actually pushed her toward violence? And should platforms like YouTube and Facebook be held accountable when they host content that escalates from spiritual warfare talk to real-world weapons? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I'm genuinely curious where y'all land on this. Are we doing enough to identify these patterns before they explode? Or are we just waiting for the next Rihanna situation? Thank you for watching all the way through. That already puts you in the top percentage of people who actually care about context and not just headlines. Y'all are the real ones. If you haven't already, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Because next time, we're diving deep into how Rihanna's security team allegedly handled previous stalker situations and how this case might completely change celebrity protection forever. Plus, we're gonna look at the other celebrities Ivana was allegedly targeting, because Rihanna wasn't her only obsession, and some of those other names might surprise you. Until then, stay safe out there, loves. Keep your eyes open for the warning signs, and remember, when someone shows you who they are through their actions, believe them the first time. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.